Ki Khubor ka Batisi TV. Lawan Rashapi da ka Frank Motors. The dark is here to rule.
Ka IZ Group of Institution Bangalore, kadai ka college babhatam nagabanta ka Jingpynkheiñ nursing but paramedical course, hospital training, pinyo scholarship but 6% ka kam, haki hospital bahedo India but shabari. Nabanta ka Jingpynkheiñ ka Jingseo ka barit but hila ban layu ban puli da ka education loan. Hila ruban syukola ho number kandai nyo saw san riu pranot. Lani kandai pran riu laisan, arn riu kandai pra.
Hatu pikwa bagi janjong pikin kuit bah benar kam daka Oswell soup hilaban yo na barok kidukan
Hakasian beningkong Sorkar jela kala rai ban Thaw daka advisory board kawadan laingut kidikhot ban syong Bishar ya ka Jingpynkheiñ an jong ki Nongkhaïi Droks nakapor katkum ka prevention of illicit traffic in narcotics, drugs and psychotropic substance PITNDPS Act 1988 kabaladan menta la license nam tam ki laingut ki dikhot jong ka advisory board ki kenthop yaw justice retired Shivaji Pandey kumu chairman bat arngut ki weipat ki kenthop ya ki senior advocate jong ka yeng Bishar Meghalaya High Court kata uba ND Chulai bat u sharing yangi kum ki dikhot u menteri katanat social welfare ka Sorkar jela ba polling do a jingekran bikila pathai kubor ha ka sautri unaitung arajar pulai ulaong daka Jingthaw ya ka advisory board ka Sorkar ka don ha ka linti ban pentri kampura ya ka PIT NDPS Act nang ni Shakmat namarwa ka NDPS Act 1985 ka don buon ki jingtuna.
All along, what was applicable here in the state of Meghalaya was an obsolete act, meaning the NDPS, Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985. There were several loopholes in the act, as all of you are aware, and some of these major loopholes also facilitated violators to circumvent the act and therefore render it ineffective. So after the series of meetings organized at my initiative, I'm now happy to inform you that after 2 meetings with the Deputy CM in charge, Home Police and senior police officials, we have now been able to invoke a more severe act known as the Prevention of Illicit Traffic in Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1988. This Act of 1988 is more severe, more effective, and Meghalaya being identified under Clause 10 of this Act as one of the vulnerable areas. We will come to that later, but if you go to the screen and see the actual copy of this Act, one is the commencement of the Act itself. This Act shall deemed to have come into force on the 4th day of July 1988, which is exactly 35 years ago today. Briefly, what this Act says is that we have to constitute an advisory board. An advisory board acts like a court of appeal, where any detainee, if he feels that he has been wrongly confined or detained, he can make an appeal before the advisory board. We have notified a 3-member advisory board comprising of, as per copies circulated to you, Honorable Mr. Justice Retired Shivaji Pandey, Chairman, then Mr. N.D. Chulai, Senior Advocate, High Court of Meghalaya, as member, and Mr. Shering Yangi, Senior Advocate, High Court of Meghalaya, as member. So, there have always been complaints that repeat offenders, people who keep getting in and out of either police stations or jails and keep going back to drug trafficking. This act takes care of such cases because it empowers the state to detain such persons for a period of not less than 3 months without the advisory board extending up to 6 months. However, if the case is to be, if the detention has to cross 6 months, then the matter comes under the advisory board for its consideration. Is vested with the power of validating such detentions, and the detention shall be up to 1 year under clause 7 of section 9. 1 year under clause 7 of section 9, and 2 years when read with subsection 2 of section 2, meaning ranging from minimum 3 months to a maximum of 2 years. And any person who has been detained under this order and then is released on the advice of the advisory board is also liable to be re-arrested and detained in case of fresh cases being filed against such persons. See, these are instances which are very unfortunate, but now what we have done is we have also revamped the department. We've brought an officer who is well acquainted with education as director social welfare, and I'm sure she will be able to contribute much more immensely, because these are areas where a lot of counseling requires to be done, a lot of constant interaction requires to be done, and which is why I'm taking more interest tomorrow, day after, visiting West Khas Hills to see how the CDPO officers work, how the ICDS scheme works, starting from West Khas Hills. So we are proactive, we are on the job. That I have in mind is to link up with the rest of the states which have been identified as vulnerable areas. For instance, if you look at this list, there are 3 international borders here. First, the India-Burma border in the states of Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Mizoram and Nagaland. Second, the India-Bangladesh border in the states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and West Bengal. Third, the India-Bhutan border in the states of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Sikkim and West Bengal. So I am of the mind that the different state governments named by the Act should work in tandem, because this is no longer a state-specific problem. It has become more than even a regional problem. It is linked up to Burma and further. Well, it is precisely because of the fact that we want to ensure the protection of human rights, that we, all these years, were not able to implement the act without having an advisory board on board. Now, we waited for and got the confirmation of Honorable Mr. Justice Retired Shivaji Pandey, and on the day that he gave his consent, because we would need somebody of that stature, a retired High Court judge, to agree to be chairman, that then you can fill up and constitute the board. It could have been a one-member board, but then to ensure and reiterate our commitment to human rights protection, we made it a 3-member board. Jingpynkheiñ kalong ba ki anjungi kimdei ban kut ha kot sada. Nada ngidan baro ki an ba ki kut tang kot sada man ban saya ko pada kan. Ti da ka bangi belielenti menda ya ka detention ka balong preventive detention but ha ka jok kopor kalong punitive detention tu. Tu ka khang ye ka ban ja ka crime but kalau ka jipin chitam bro. Lara ka de she's nem ha do ask nem. Tu ka non bailable. Langat ha ni ka ask ni. Tu kumba PUE ka de ka baja dang shen ha ka tu ka case ha Ripoh district. Ka tu hi kala pen kenja ya ka jinglong open jo kini ki traffickers. Tu na community ba lara kiai petangi kini kikam te kemudian ingin invoke baik ya kenegaraan but kanang kan kaan dekat ta ke jism shifting ya kaan kan anjurkan. The whole point now is we have made an earnest beginning to ensure that the rule of law prevails, and that is just the first step. Second, we have also got in touch with the head of the faith organizations. I'm meeting them again in the next 1 week or so. Third is, for instance, the KSU Southwest Khasi Hills had also come forward with a lot of very valuable suggestions. And to think of an area as remote as Maukarwat being also vulnerable means that the problem is really serious. So we have to work in tandem with the line departments, and I will make sure I'm committed to ensuring that we immediately address this problem before it becomes out of control. Based on records available with different police stations and police outposts. And as you can see, the problem has amplified because you also have not only local traffickers, but they also involve people from outside the state who are sharks in the business. For instance, the recent case in which somebody from Manipur is involved, and we infer that he has links up to Myanmar. So meaning that the problem is no longer localized. Si hangno ngin habanek ka district wise review. Allegation kila banwan nang nuro. Ndring ngin hapet ki facts and figures. Dia hangno habangi syam ba say for instance DC lanu SP kendon ye authority gitu. Lagi haban act. Ngin haban act. Ka baar pada ke standard practice hi kalau bandum ala tuju beri upniatan aku juga cakap nomor ki develop ya ka vested interest ti kita ki bang ngila pada ndoi ya ka Jingpynkheiñ kampor ya ki snong nomor bang ngila don lupa provision ng bentaki district committees nei ti ya tu pada ngan sa shong la ka jong review meeting district wise ringkat DC and SP Jomboro district trustee